So you're writing a resume and you're not sure what the layout should look like? I'm Vida Thompson, a resume writer and career coach, and I want to help you out with this. I want to provide you with some of the latest information on what your resume should look like in 2021. So if you want to know what your resume design should be, stay tuned to the end where I'll put it all together by showing you a full example. So first step, keep it simple. So when it comes to resumes, simpler generally tends to be better. I've been seeing a lot of multi-column, visually focused resumes such as the ones created on Canva lately. While you might love the visual look, there's a few flaws with these. So let's take a look. These resume templates often contain columns, graphics, scales, and other visual elements that are incompatible with applicant tracking systems. This can prevent your resume getting through to a recruiter if you apply online. By the way, if you don't know what applicant tracking systems are, check out my video on this topic for more info. Second, these resumes just don't contain a lot of information. So if we take a look at this resume, we can see that each job really only has 3 super short bullet points. These don't give you enough space to describe what you actually did in the job. Certainly doesn't have enough room to include any quantifiable or interesting achievements. And finally, it doesn't allow you to use many keywords that are going to demonstrate to a hiring professional that your resume is relevant. Third, these resumes often have some strange qualities that recruiters and hiring professionals just don't like. And, these aren't designed by recruiters and hiring professionals, so it's being designed by someone who doesn't really know what someone that does the hiring wants to see. So let's talk about this one here, which I just downloaded. So this one at the bottom has a skills scale, and this shows where the candidate ranks their skills accordingly. So in this case, we have someone that's stating that they're really good at graphic design and photography, but they're basically stating that they're really not that great at layout and motion graphics. So I always find this frustrating because if I take a look at this, the level of proficiency here looks to be about 50%. And in my estimation, that's a fail. So you're basically saying that you're not good at this. And this rating here doesn't mean anything to a recruiter. It's not tied to some level of proficiency like a test where it's like, hey, I got 80% on this. So when you do something like this, it just really means nothing to the person reading it. And the worst case scenario is they're going to assume you actually aren't good at it. Another funny thing about this one, for some reason, this one appears to start going into the future, starting with the oldest experience first. I'm not sure why, but this is the opposite of what you want to do. So hiring professionals are really quite focused on dates. It's just the way it is. Hiring professionals specifically look at dates of employment, and they want to see your most recent role first. Keep in mind they're not spending a lot of time, maybe only seconds looking at a resume. And so if they see old experience first, they might just move on. So as I mentioned, these templates are a really great example of what you don't want to do, especially if you're applying online, and especially if you're applying to a traditional job, a corporate job. And in most cases, this still isn't going to really do the trick because it's not including enough information. Here are a few tips to take with you. First, keep it to one column. Avoid templates. So, there are some good templates out there, but most of them don't work very well. So try to avoid them. Use a chronological format, starting with the most recent role and working your way back. Keep it classic and simple, basic colors, fonts, make it easy to read. And include lots of relevant information using keywords from the job description you're applying for so your resume appears relevant. Next, I want to talk about the top third. So the top third of your resume is where you capture the employer's attention. So make sure to include all of the most relevant information here. As I said, recruiters are scanning resumes, spending only seconds, taking a quick look, so you need to get their attention right away. So this top third section should include a title, a summary, and core competencies. The title should clearly communicate what you do and what you want in your next role. Now, not all resumes have to have a title, but it can be a really great way to brand yourself and show the employer instantly that you have what they're looking for. So for example, this resume's title is Financial Planner, but depending on the role, it can really be whatever you'd like. Human Resources Manager, Operations Manager, Marketing Specialist. So really, it is ideal to tailor the title to the position you're applying for so it appears relevant at first glance. However, you do want to make sure the title reflects the type of work you've performed in the past as well. So if you use a manager title, make sure that you are comfortable stating that you are actually a manager. So don't try to put anything in there that you don't feel represents what you've done. Next, you want to use a summary. So first of all, no objectives. So objectives are outdated. They focus on what you want from the employer. The summary should focus on what you have to offer the employer. So talk about your most important skills, education, experience to show the positive impact you can have on the company. Keep the summary concise, and I'm talking between 4 to 6 lines. It needs to be long enough that it won't go unnoticed, and short enough that it won't be just completely passed over. Remember, the goal is to make sure that your resume appears relevant. You don't want to use this opportunity to talk about something that's not related to the job at all. You want to focus on the related skills, background, and experience that you do have so you can show why you're the perfect fit for the position. Next, you want to include a highlights of experience section. So a section where you list the most important keywords and skills near the top of your resume. And this is really helpful in ensuring that your resume gets noticed by both applicant tracking systems and recruiters. You can easily customize this section to ensure that your resume contains relevant keywords that are also in the job description. Third, the experience section. So what you want to do within the experience section is you want to describe achievements. What I usually recommend doing is including a paragraph just under the job title that describes an overview of what you did and the tasks involved, and then getting into some examples of achievements in each role. So let's talk about a couple of examples. As we think about achievements, the real main thing that you want to focus on is the results. So for example, a lot of resumes will have something like this: developed and implemented numerous sales and marketing programs, or launched effective employee recognition programs. So those are the start of an achievement, but they don't include the results. And so what you really want to do is finish off with the results of the achievement and include a number, percentage, or dollar amount if you can. If it's not quantifiable, that's okay, but just try to describe the results as best you can. So adding a result, you'll have developed and implemented numerous sales and marketing programs, which increase sales by 25%. Or launched effective employee recognition programs to positively impact company culture and enhance employee engagement. So putting it all together, here's an example of a resume that contains all of the elements that I just talked about. So for this resume, we've got a clear headline, Financial Planner, so that clearly shows what he does and also his goal. We've got a summary that contains, about 4 to 5 sentences about what really he can do for the company and also what some of his key skills are as well. So everything in here really covers off on keywords that are in the job description. Within the core competencies section, we've also focused in on important keywords and information that will really show the company that this resume is relevant. And that helps both with applicant tracking systems, which are scanning for keywords, but also hiring professionals who are also looking through the resumes, only spending a few seconds and looking for relevant information. Going into the professional experience, we can see that we have all of the positions in chronological order, starting with the most recent first and breaking them down from there, starting off with a clear overview of what the role is, and then following up with achievements for each position. And that's it. Thanks so much for joining. If you want more information, check out the rest of my channel and download my free resume checklist. This will help you figure out what's working and what's not working with your resume. Thanks.